Alright, welcome to this tutorial to sharing your data, combining models, and wrapping up what seems to be a Goliath of an assignment. Um, let's dig in. So, you've reached this point. Your models are done. Well, at least, just about. We have our one criterion done, which is a soil map. I think we selected some water in this. Um, and we've wrapped it all up, unioned it, made sure that there's no FIDs selected so we don't get all these nasty FIDs which clutter our attribute tables. On the other hand, we have our second criterion, which is something to do with LGN. I think we did some swamp. I think we're making alligator habitat here because we've got water and swamp going on. Cool. So now the next step, how do we combine these models and make sure that we have a clear overview of what we want? And for the next step in this tutorial, I need you to imagine that there's more than two models. Because naturally you're going to combine your models together so that you get a perfect layout, as you can see in my attribute table at the bottom here, which I'll show you in just a second. Um, but eventually you're going to do this with many, many more models, and you're going to combine four people's models into one. Now, if you're like me and you have you're a little messy in your data, and you have lots and lots and lots of data, and you don't actually know where it's all gone, and it comes down to I just need everything to be in a final geodatabase. Right, what to do? Um, we have we have our criterion 2 and criterion 1. Yep, right. So everything that we need is in these models. We don't need anything else. We've got our inputs, we've got our tools, we've got our intermediate outputs, and we have the final output that we want. So how do I get all of this into a new geodatabase so that it's nice and clean, so that all my colleagues don't have to see all the stuff from my previous assignments and whatnot? As you can see right here, I have several geodatabases, and what I've done is I've made a final maps geodatabase, and I'm just going to just remove everything in this, so that we can just start from scratch, right? So I've got my models done. There's still two single models, and I want to have the models combined, and I want all the data combined. I am going to make this final map geodatabase my default geodatabase. Yeah, and I'm going to call it not final maps because there's more maps to come. What I actually want to do um, is rename it to Swampy Water. So people know it's swamp and water. Cool. Make it a new default geodatabase. And as you can see, if we open up the tools, we can now see that the output feature class is stored in tutorials swampy water geodatabase. So, in fact, the geodatabase that we selected as our default geodatabase is now the geodatabase that's going to store all our data. That's perfect, because if we now run these tools, we see, oh, look, there's one. I'm going to run select. There's two. Cool. We're on a roll. There's our dissolve, adding a field, which only, affects the dissolve, so it doesn't actually create new output. Same for calculate field. And then our union, final step, boom. So now instead of having lots and lots and lots of data, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 features that contain everything that we need. Now don't forget, we need these two as well. So let's go into here. This is where we have all our data stored. So we'll grab the soil map, we can drag and drop. Easy as that. Pop it in there. And that is everything that we need for this one criterion. That's 6 feature classes, and that's it all. Right, we're going to do exactly the same for criterion number 2. So that's something to do with LGN7. So before we start, I'll pop LGN7 in there, right? And we're going to reuse the research area again, which is already in there. So there we go. First tool. And we can see swampy water. Yeah, so that's what we're happy with. It's going to the right geodatabase. And as we can see, data is just piling up in there. We're getting all these intermediate layers in there. And that's what we want. We want to have one geodatabase with nothing other than the data that we need. So here we go. Just about done. Gonna go with a union. And I noticed after I did this union that I had a little data overlap over the edge of the map. So just cleaned that up with a little clip. Happy days. So that's these two done. So now that we have our geodatabase with all the data in it that we need, we want to have a geodatabase with the model that we need. So we're going to add a new toolbox, which we're going to call also swampy water. And because we like to be very, very, very clear to our peers, we're going to add swampy water model as well. All right, we're going to go ahead, edit that. And then from there, we're going to go into criterion number 1, hit Control A so that you select all, Control C to copy all, and Control V, so click into your new model, Control V. So now that you have your model in a separate model, we don't want to delete this model. We want to keep everything that we have originally, but we don't want to touch it anymore. So we're going to go ahead and save this and not touch this anymore. We're going to go to criterion 2. Again, Control A, Control C, Control V. Boom. It's all there. Now, if any of these turn white, don't panic. What you'll often see is that one of the data links to either one of your inputs, it can break. You know, it can happen. So let's assume that this happens for one of our things. There we go. This has all gone white, and that's simply in this case because I removed the research area because we only need it once. We don't need to have 2 research areas in there. All we need to do is restore the link. There we go. That's running smoothly. And don't forget, make sure that we drag this into the union as well, so that all the links are up and running again. Now, we've already run all of this, but we want to make sure that we can combine these as well. So we're going to go ahead and run them again. Now, I forgot one thing, and that is that we have a clip right over here. So we're going to go ahead and restore that data link as well. Perfect. Now, because we like things to be pretty, there we go. Smooth as. Right, so now we have one model with both our criteria in it. Now, as I said, imagine that there's multiple here, right? So imagine that you have your 6, 8 criteria, however many you have. Even if you make like a model for your eco stuff and you make a model for your socioeconomic stuff, you'll have 4 different criteria in here. You want to combine all of these in a union. So let's arrange a marriage. Let's go for union. I'm going to grab union analysis, and we're going to pop output number 1 and output number 2 and pop those in there. Now, remember, double check that geodatabase. Is it still the right one? Swampy water. This is the one that we need. Join attributes. It's currently set to all. We want to make sure it's on no FIDs. We don't want those nasty FIDs. They're confusing. Right, let's go ahead and run this. Beautiful. Beautiful. We'll go ahead and have a look at the display. As I said earlier, you don't want to delete these. You don't want to remove these intermediate ones, so these individual criterions. You want to save them and not touch them anymore. Yeah, they can happily sit there in criteria 1 and 2. They can happily sit in the toolbox that we made in our tutorial. That's fine. We don't need any of that anymore. We are now just in the swampy water geodatabase, and we're only focusing on the end result here. Okay, so let's clear all of this up as well, because all these names are just so confusing, and there's lots going on. There's lots of data, and I have no clue. So let's have a look. Add to display. Boom. Cool. Let's have a look at the attribute table, because as you know, the attribute table is a lot more important than the colors that you're going to show. If you're going to copy and paste data from one geodatabase to the other, if you're going to remove it from your table of contents and then re-add it, it's not actually stored in the feature class, right? So the colors will be stored to your MXD, so to your map file, but not actually to your feature class. So we can go ahead and we can change the colors of this, go into categories, but hey, we've got swamp suitability and water suitability. But I thought we unioned them and we wanted to show them all as one. Correct, you are. We currently have two individual columns. And what we want to do is we want to combine them so that these 0 and 0 combined are still 0. That we get the 1 and the 0 and the 1 as being 1, and that we get this 1 and 0 as 1, and this 1 and 1, because that's the one that we like. This is double suitability here. We want that as a number 2. Cool. We've done this in the past. You know how to do this, but let's just walk through these steps again. Let's go to Edit. And what tools do we need? I can hear you say it. We need Add Field. All right. Add Field, Data Management. Hop on in there, buddy. And now, if you see Add Field up here, you've ticked in Add Field, look below. There's Calculate Field there as well. While we're there, go ahead and pop that in as well. All right, we'll just arrange this neatly. We'll link up our output from our union, number 3, to Add Field. And we're going to give that a swampy water suitability. Yeah, says something about the swamp, says something about the water, no doubt about it. Everybody knows exactly what you mean. So that way you make it clear for your colleagues what this is. Right, added the field. Let's go into Calculate Field. We're going to name Swampy Water Suitability, the field we just made. And in expression, we're going to add up swamp suitability and water suitability. Okay? So we're going to go plus these two. I'm going to combine them. And I'll show you, I just talked about what we actually wanted. The zeros and the zeros being 0, the 1 and the 1 being 2. Perfect. This is what we want. So let's go into that attribute table again. There we go. That's it. And it's super tidy. It's super clean. It's completely transparent as to what the buildup of these figures is. And this is exactly what you want to share with your colleagues. This is what you want to show them. Right. We're going to clean this up by just pressing that auto layout button there. And we are happy with the end results here. Let's have a look how it expresses itself in color. Swampy water suitability. Add all values. Remove the tick of all other values because there's a 0 count there. Right? We can see there's a 0. There's 1 0. Label 0. Yeah, count 1. There's 2 1s, 1 and a 1, and there's only 1 2. Yep, count 1. There we go. That's the 2. But there's no all other values. It doesn't exist, so we don't want to have that box ticked. We want it unticked. Right. If these symbols are reversed, so if you have a 2 being red and a 0 being green, right-click the symbol and go flip symbols. Yeah. If you're reverse sorting, it's just going to flip it around. If we click flip symbol, it's going to change the colors. Okay? Go ahead and complete that. Cool. So this is our overlay. This is our overlap. All the water, and there's little areas where the water and the swamp overlap. That is crocodile or alligator heaven. Loving it. So here's our end result. Perfect. How do we share this with our friends? Now, thankfully, what we have here is, and this is what we worked hard to get, is a model with all our criteria. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Don't forget to save. And we have all these individual outputs there as well. All of this in this one geodatabase is everything we need. Yeah? So, I'm going to save our tutorial. I'm going to save the MXD. I'm going to close it. and I'm going to navigate to that folder. And where'd it go? There we go. Tutorials. Happy days. There you go. Swampy Water Geodatabase. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and you can do this, actually this might even be better to do in our catalog. It's probably better to do this in our catalog. It reduces the chance of your data going corrupt. So let's have a look. Let's find our folders. It's having a bit of a hard time. It's 4:15. It's saying, come on, don't have to work this hard anymore. It's the end of the day. It's almost holidays. We're going to keep at it. There we go. And we're actually going to go in here, tutorials, right, so tutorial, this is our Swampy Water Geodatabase. What we're going to do is we're going to go back to tutorials and we're going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it Swampy Water, right? Swampy Water. In a side here, we can go to the geodatabase. We can copy the entire geodatabase and paste it into Swampy Water. Again, do not remove it. Just copy it. We don't need to cut and paste. Yeah, we're just going to copy it because we want backups. We want to be able to, if this folder for whatever reason, if it's deleted, we still have it in here. Yeah, cool. Now, before we're going to share anything, we're just going to double check everything's there. So, is our model there? Yep. Happy days. Is all our data there? Yep. Happy days. Perfect. Shut this down. And we're going to go into our OneDrive and go to your tutorials. In my case, tutorial. In your case, it'll be, basic GIS, LDM 203, whatever else. And we're going to go right-click the folder that we just made. Now, keep an eye out. In the bottom right here, we can see our little OneDrive icon. And it's working hard. It's trying to get all its data uploaded and synchronized online so that you have online backups of this as well. And we can see it's working with Swampy Water Geodatabase. So we're just going to wait. Just going to hold on a second and wait for this to complete synchronization. There it is. Yeah. And what we can see, there's now a little tick there. That's it. I'm going to right click it. I'm going to click share. And we're going to put in the names of our friends. Now, in my case, I'm just going to share it with little old me. So, callum.read at hvhl.nl. That's me. I'm going to go ahead and send it. Swampy Water sent. Cool. That's me done. Yeah. I'm going to go into my email. And I'm going to see that I just sent myself an email. In this case, you're going to send your friends an email with the Swampy Water folder. I'm going to open this up. And it will open up in a SharePoint website, and you can click synchronize. So what you're going to do is you're going to share this with your friends, and you're going to appoint one person who is going to combine all your models and combine all the maps. And it may sound a little unfair that one person has to do this, but unfortunately at some stage there's going to be one person who takes the lead and says, I'm going to combine everything. For that reason, we want to be as clear as possible. We want to make sure that our data management is immaculate. That's what we're aiming for. So if you're the person who's going to combine all the models, you're going to go ahead and synchronize this. Yeah. And you're going to get a prompt. I don't get it because I automatically accept it. You're going to get a prompt that Microsoft OneDrive wants to open. Go ahead and accept that and it will open. Now, next step, I need your imagination again. You are going to get a folder in your Van Hal Larenstein OneDrive. You've already got one here, which is LDM 203 probably, but you're going to get a new folder here. That's going to be, in my case, it's going to be called Swampy Water. I don't get it because this is already my OneDrive and I've shared something with myself. So I'm not actually going to be able to synchronize with myself because it's, well, it's right there. Yeah. So in here, you're going to get your folders combined. So you're going to get your criteria from each and every individual in your group. And the fun thing about this, and that's what makes this perfect, is if I go ahead and open up catalog again, 2, 1, I can actually I can connect to that OneDrive. So I can connect to any folder that I want. And for instance, here's a folder that Leonora shared with me earlier. I can access this data. I can copy this data. I can work in the toolbox. I can do everything that she can do as well. So this allows me to copy data. This allows me to copy the models and to put them all, combine them all into one. Yeah. All right, perfect. I'm going to leave it with this at the risk of this video being somewhat longer than I anticipated it to be. It's 20 minutes already, so take your time, sit down for this, watch what I do, take these steps, and just always fall back on this. Yeah, you can always re-watch this video either on YouTube or on Moodle Rooms. Um, you can always retrace your steps in the workbook. You can always find us on Teams. Yeah, so we're always here available. We're here available. We're live on Tuesday and Thursday, and we try our very best to answer questions as quickly as we possibly can. But if it's a Sunday evening and you are working on this, one, I tip my hat to you. Two, if you have a question, just ask it. Because Monday morning, if I log on to my computer and I open up Teams, I'll get a notification, and if I have 5 spare minutes, I'll go ahead and answer your question for you, and I'll do my best to help you, just like the rest of the team, to answer your questions as good as we possibly can and as fast as we possibly can. Right. For now, that's it. Um, I wish you all very much the best of luck with wrapping up this module. Well done to all of you. You've persevered, you've done well, you've worked hard, and the results are there. Um, I hope you enjoy your holidays, which are coming up next week. Take some time for yourself, and we'll see you around. Best of luck, and goodbye.